When Crash Bandicoot N.Sane Trilogy got announced last year, it wouldn't be surprising if the public got excited. Not only because these games bring back nostalgia, they're also responsible for propelling Naughty Dog to fame and serve to promote the PlayStation brand. Despite the IP currently under the ownership of Activision, and the game in question was developed by Vicarious Visions, Crash Bandicoot N.Sane Trilogy is definitely worth the trip down memory lane, despite its few hiccups. Saying the game, or games with plural, look fantastic would be an understatement, as everything was produced from the ground up. Vicarious Visions consider the N.Sane Trilogy a remaster, but due to the drastic jump in graphical fidelity, in addition to the changes within its game design, I consider it a remake. The voice acting and dialogue are superb, and these qualities are synergised with how excellent the facial animations are, even if they are over the top. I won't spoil anything in terms of the story, but what I can say is it follows all three games respectively. The gameplay has remained intact, as the controls are simple to comprehend, with the addition to slide jump, spin longer, crouch onto obstacles and run faster. All three games contain levels that have boxes to break, some with Wumpa Fruit and others with lives. However, if obtained enough Wumpa Fruit you gain an extra life, and if you manage to break every box, including those in the bonus levels, you'll earn that stage's gem. Furthermore, some stages may have more than one gem to collect, and by retrieving them all contributes to an alternative ending. Granted, you don't have to do these if you just want to play through the game at your own pace, but if you want to complete all three games fully, then obtaining all of these gems will be mandatory. One thing that bugged players in the original Crash Bandicoot was how bonus stages were designed. If Crash met his demise during this moment, it would be impossible to collect the stage's gem due to the fact you only had one shot, and to make matters worse, the bonus stages were the only way of saving your game, unless you wrote the password down as a way of saving your progress. Fortunately, these issues are no longer a problem, as players can retry without restarting the entire level. However, coloured gems can only be retrieved under specific circumstances, not to mention they unlock areas that were inaccessible initially. Another change Vicarious Visions made is that Coco is a playable character across the entire trilogy and can be switched out at any time. Unfortunately, she can't be used in boss fights except for her encounter with Engine in Crash Bandicoot Warped. Aside from that, it doesn't make much sense considering Coco's controls are identical to Crash's. It may sound like a trivial point, but why the developers never took this into account is beyond me. The controls for the jet ski and motorcycle segments have too much understeer than needed, which can be annoying when you miss boxes only to turn around and retry, and in the case of Crash's levels, it's frustrating when you have to finish ahead of the pack and break every box if you're attempting to complete it 100%. But don't let those points discourage you, because my experience with all three titles have been enjoyable from start to finish, and while the gameplay is kept true to their original counterparts, they still provide a sense of challenge without feeling cheap. Add to the fact Crash and Coco have additional moves that I mentioned earlier, it opens up different possibilities that may have been overlooked, and some enemies will encourage you to utilise these options. Plus, it does have extra replay value with the addition of time relics, which were present in Crash Bandicoot Warped and can be acquired across all three games. Even if you decide not to go for the relics and gems, the N.Sane Trilogy still provides enough content to keep you occupied. Overall, I think it's a remake that deserves to be in your collection because Vicarious Visions didn't just keep true to the source material, they also made changes that would help the game age better in the long term. But Crash wasn't the only character that got a makeover. There's another game that got a similar treatment, but I'll save that for another time. Crash Bandicoot N.Sane Trilogy is insanely challenging, but it's insanely good.
Of course.